Today, I'm flying one of the world's longest flights for 24 hours from Australia all the way to London. I'm in the best first class suites on board, and I'll show you exactly what it's like, from how I sleep, the fine dining, and even the upstairs in-flight lounge. This doesn't come cheap though, starting at over $10,000, but today you're joining me on this iconic 11,000 mile journey across the world. With that, let's pick up our story in Sydney, Australia. First, passengers get a private area where check-in formalities take place efficiently and discreetly. With boarding about to commence, let's head down to the gate. I'm escorted down the jet bridge by one of the lovely gate agents. It's at this point we get our first up-close look at our mammoth Airbus A380. This 14-year-old aircraft is certainly no stranger to the 11,000 mile Sydney to London route, completing it multiple times a week. Here we go then, Qantas first class. It's a bright and airy cabin despite being quite a high density. Let's stow my luggage in the overhead bin and settle into my seat 3 Alpha on the left hand side of the aircraft. Within no time at all, I'm served a pre-departure beverage, a glass of delicious 2005 vintage Pomeray champagne. It's of course absolutely delicious, with complex floral notes and aromas of roasted hazelnut and vanilla. Or at least that's what I read, because I have no idea what I'm talking about. It's punchy stuff though, at $250 a bottle. I'm served some canapes too, a caviar tartlet with cauliflower cream. We begin to push back, so it's time to get my seatbelt on as the safety video is run.
Welcome to Qantas.
If oxygen is required, a mask will drop from above. Put it on quickly and tighten the strap.
With that, we hurtle down the runway and off into the New South Wales mid-afternoon sunshine. As mentioned, this flight will have a tech stop en route as we fly the first 4,000 miles over to Singapore. The suite is pretty flexible in seating arrangement, meaning I can change to face the window at the touch of a button. For further elevated comfort, let's boot the Timbs off and get the provided Qantas slippers on. I'm promptly served another vintage Pomeray champagne, along with some warmed mixed nuts. Service so far has been absolutely on point, but we all know the real test is when food service begins. A menu has been left at my seat for perusal, though I'm a little disappointed at how flimsy this is as opposed to a card or leather-bound folder, such as on Singapore Airlines or Emirates. With my order placed, let's take a proper look around. We're currently located here, at the front of this Airbus A380 aircraft. There's room for a total of 485 passengers, split between the upper deck of business class and premium economy seats, and the main deck with room for 341 passengers in economy class, and of course our cabin of 14 first class suites. I'd advise choosing a suite on the left hand side of the aircraft for additional privacy and quietness. For example, just look how exposed the middle suite is here. 3 Alpha is my pick, as you're away from the galley and any restroom noise. The suite is spacious with a comfortable fully adjustable armchair, which even has this wonderful massage function. There's also a buddy seat which can be used for coupled dining. I'm delighted to see individual air vents, which certainly helps with your comfort on these ultra long haul journeys. Initially I was concerned at how exposed you are to your neighbour, but after takeoff this privacy screen raises, which gives an illusion at least of separation. Right, I make it time for dinner. The tray table is deployed at the touch of a button and extends as so. To begin, I've opted for the pan-fried gnocchi with asparagus, prawns, brown butter and parmesan. This is a true melt in your mouth indulgence, going down an absolute treat. Naturally I have to keep up appearances, so I've gone for the medium rare steak with green beans, a rich mac and cheese and Neil's barbecue sauce. I've since found out Neil is a famous Australian chef. There's me thinking he's one of the flight attendants. I'm happy to confirm the beef is cooked to perfection, not an easy task at 35,000 feet. To close off the gluttony, I've gone for the raspberry and blackberry summer pudding with a creme fraiche. It's really very enjoyable indeed. Just before the all-important taste test, let's get the in-flight entertainment set up for a movie. Your IFE remote is stowed neatly in your armrest and is released as so. Unfortunately, it appears completely unresponsive. Not to worry though, these are touchscreens after all. Oh, and of course we've got to put the seat into relax mode. Well, quite abruptly it seems, we've arrived into Singapore. Where did these last few hours go? However, they do sell tickets independently from Sydney to Singapore and Singapore to London, so in this case we'll need to get off the plane for just over an hour. This does mean we have some time to spare in Singapore's incredible Changi airport. Of course, there's only one thing I really want to go on the hunt for, the Qantas first class lounge. Thankfully it's not too hard to locate, and whilst there's a whole host of features, I want one basic luxury first and foremost: a shower. Now feeling $1 million, let's go check out the rest of the lounge. There's a dining room, and whilst I'm not planning to eat at present, we'll take a glance at the menu. Not wanting to miss the second and even longer sector of our flight, let's hot-foot it back to the gate. Here she is then, refueled and ready for the next 14 hours over to London. This next longer leg will take us some 14 hours and 7,000 miles all the way to London. Now we must really check out the party piece on board, the onboard lounge. This isn't quite the Emirates lounge which you'll find on its A380s, and rather than being located at the larger rear space of the upper deck, it's actually at the very front by business class. It's totally deserted, so I'll sit back and enjoy a sparkling water whilst perusing and ordering from the dinner menu. Back at my seat I'm served, well, you've probably guessed it by now, more steak. I just couldn't help try for research purposes, of course. I think it's finally time for some sleep, so let's change into my provided Qantas pyjamas. There are 2 first class restrooms located at the very front of the cabin. It's a clean and practical space, albeit a little small. There are ample amenities provided either in the bathroom itself or in your provided amenity kit. I'm delighted to find my suite has been turned down into a bed during my absence. How inviting does this look? Qantas use the Australian luxury bedding firm Sheridan, which I find to be of excellent quality. You get a particularly comfy mattress topper, one that you just sink into. Perfect. Good night, I'll catch you all in the morning.
The next day.
I slept for a solid 9 hours, perhaps the longest I've slept on a plane before. Given the flight timings, whilst it's morning over Europe now, it's still around 3 AM local time. But that's okay for brekkie, right? Of course, let's begin with a freshly made cappuccino for that obligatory caffeine hit, as my table is set. Judging by the flight map, we only have a short amount of time left until landing, so let's go and change back into my clothes and freshen up. I still can't believe that 24 hours of flying has come to an end just like that, and with it my experience of trying the iconic kangaroo route QF1.